5 expectations that I have for the upcoming 6th generation Toyota 4Runner. Before I share my 5 with you, let me know down in the comments what you want to see on the next 6th generation 4Runner. Number 1 is going to have to be the looks. Now, what the heck do I mean by that? Well, it needs to look like a 4Runner. And one of the iconic things of a 4Runner is its kind of side view right here. Definitely, it's gonna most likely be 4 doors, right? But this C-pillar right here has been angled on the 1st gen 4Runner, the 2nd gen, the 3rd gen, the 4th gen, and the 5th gen. They all have this kind of look to it on the C-pillar. Now, there is some rumors that this is going to be a little bit more upright on the 6th gen 4Runner forum. We shall see about that. However, I think that it will still remain like a 4Runner. Even coming to the back here too, it says 4Runner back here. I think that that would be really cool if Toyota keeps that on the 4Runner, because it has been something that's been there since the very beginning. It may not have said 4Runner on the 1st gen and 2nd gen. I believe my 2nd gen 4Runner, it actually said Toyota on the back, but it has said 4Runner, or has had Toyota's logo right there from the very beginning. Now, when we come up to the front of the 4Runner, Toyota, the type of design that we can expect to come for this vehicle is going to be most likely their new kind of front ends that they have. You can see it on the Tundra, you can see it on the Sequoia, and also the Tacoma. I do feel that the 4Runner will carry a bunch of cues that the Tacoma has. They've been most likely developed at the same time, including the powertrain as well, which I've been saying for a while. But the front end will hopefully look a little bit like the Tacoma, but hopefully the 4Runner is different in its own way on the exterior and also in the interior. I really hope the interior is not a carbon copy like the Sequoia is to the Tundra. They are the exact same on the inside. I hope the 4Runner has its differences to differentiate itself from the Tacoma. And as for size, I don't see the 4Runner really growing all that much, maybe an inch here or there, and especially with some maybe additional headroom in the vehicle, but I don't see it growing that much because the Land Cruiser is pretty much a couple inches longer and wider and taller than the 4Runner. And if those two are the exact same size, then I have my head scratching for why Toyota was doing what they're doing. So size-wise, I don't see it growing a whole lot. Maybe some interior proportions will change up a little bit, but aside from that, I think the 4Runner is going to stay relatively the same size. Well, number 2 is going to come right here in the VIN, the very first letter being a J. So what a J stands for on the beginning of a VIN is Japan. This 4Runner is built in Japan. All generations prior to this have been built in Japan, and it would just baffle me if Toyota takes this iconic vehicle away from Japan. Now, the Mexico plant, to my knowledge, where they build the Tacoma, is already at pretty much maximum capacity to push out 200,000+ of those trucks a year. So hopefully with the 4Runner still being made in Japan, it will be made alongside the new Land Cruiser, made alongside the new GX, because if the powertrain is the same as the Land Cruiser, they'll have to have that up in there also, and also non-hybrid options. So hopefully made in Japan, and with that will come reliability as well. This is kind of number 2 and number 3 put together for this one, but reliability in the new 6th gen 4Runner. There has never been a 4Runner that was like not reliable, right? Like over time, they have been super reliable. They're some of the most longest lasting vehicles on the road. This 5th generation 4Runner, 14 years old now, almost 15 years old, not a major issue. There are some known things, right? Like steering wheel wobble at 62 miles an hour that Toyota has not fixed for some reason. But aside from that, this thing is one of the most reliable vehicles on the road, and I don't expect the 6th gen 4Runner to just be a pile of crap and like not be to the standard that all the other generations of 4Runner were before. And the 4th is going to be price, guys. So price, what can we expect this new 4Runner to be at, right? Well, we saw a little bit of a jump with the 3rd generation Tacoma, about $2,000 to $3,000 initial trim level bump, but then it got really expensive and differentiated itself from the 3rd gen Tacoma when it came to packages. Now, this thing has been a cash cow for Toyota for 14 years. They have made so much money on the 4Runner. It is so cheap for them. It is printing money like crazy, where hopefully when the next gen comes out, there's minimal price bump or like not any at all. Like that would just be crazy, right? But there will be. But hopefully it's not like a crazy sticker shock. And the biggest reason for this too is because of the Land Cruiser. So the Land Cruiser starts at $55,000. The 4Runner, or mid-50s they said, the 4Runner ends at about $56,000 with the 5th generation, with the TRD Pro, which by those standards, this vehicle is overpriced in the first place. I can't believe how much these 4Runners are going for. I bought my TRD Pro in 2017 for $43,000. Not a whole lot has changed. I wish I had a moonroof, but $56,000 for a 5th gen 4Runner. When people start to complain about 6th gen prices, whatever they are, just remember, Toyota's been charging this much money for an old vehicle. That's all I'm saying. What I'm getting at though is with the Land Cruiser starting at around the mid $55,000 range, there has to be a price ladder here where the 4Runner really ends to make the Land Cruiser start making sense, and then obviously a Sequoia after that, right? And Toyota's marketing with their vehicles. But hopefully we do not see a $60,000 4Runner. Hopefully it's still around mid 50s. Maybe it touches $60,000 for like the hybrid ones, right? But hopefully the limiteds are still around 51 to 52, and TRD Pros are like just barely right there at $60,000. Guys, the 5th and final thing, I don't even have to say it. I'll say it. A rear roll down window. Everyone who has been following my channel knows what we're gonna do if Toyota decides to stupidly, I'm gonna say stupidly, omit this from the 6th gen 4Runner. If there's any Toyota executives or anyone watching right now, designers and stuff, that have plans for this new 6th generation 4Runner that may be coming out this year or next year, and they see this in the video and they're like, oh yeah, we didn't do that. Delay that thing. Delay the 4Runner and redesign the rear end to make this happen. It's been here since the 1st generation. The 1st generation 4Runner had this. Do you know what this is? This is the dog window. This is making your 4Runner a truck by having lumber come out. This is the coolest freaking thing, especially if you have a Whittle Wada, right? You can still access the inside of your vehicle. Overlanders love this and stuff. I'm a Broverlander. I don't overland and stuff. I go to the mall. This looks cool, right? But I'm still able to access in here. The dogs are able to love it. 5th and final expectation above all is a rear roll down window on the 6th generation 4Runner. They got rid of it on the Sequoia. That was kind of meh here and there, right? The Sequoia wasn't a crazy bestseller. They kept it on the Tundra, which was a staple feature for the Tundra. So I don't see why Toyota would get rid of it on the 4Runner. But my gosh, if they do, that is not good. So 5th and final thing is going to be a rear roll down window. So guys, I'm excited to read your comments down below. What do you want to see on the all new 6th generation 4Runner? When do you think it will come out? How much do you think it is? And are you going to be excited for it? All right guys, I'll catch you in the next one.